How are you? How's it going? Let's start with the news about what's happening around the world. And well, let's begin with an image of a robot from DAX Robotics, designed as a robot horse, according to reports. This one would have the capacity to carry about a ton, around 1,000 kilos, so it could transport supplies and things like that. In fact, it's designed to climb mountains, to go up cliffs, places where a car, even an off-road vehicle couldn't go. That's the idea. Now, honestly, here it looks very slow. Super slow. By the time it gets there, the need to deliver those supplies is already over, but well, that's part of it.
Your customer's already dead by then.
The client has already died on you. Hey, the thing is that these robots have been, well, one thing is the graphic they show you, the really nice design, and you remember.
Yes, of course, we already saw this. We had seen a similar one, not from them because I think it was from another company.
Well, as far as I know, it was the same one, but anyway.
But anyway, just laugh, let it look super amazing.
Exactly, but anyway, in reality, well,
It's missing a little something.
it's missing something, and the worst part is they use the bathroom too.
Oh no.
Another image that is surprising is this one. So, a man was shot by the United States Secret Service in Washington near the White House. He had allegedly shot someone. It has not been determined why, but the United States Secret Service confirmed that agents shot an individual who was near the White House complex without giving further details. But obviously, it's also a serious situation.
It's very clear that they're not giving any information at all.
They haven't given any details. That's serious. There's also this other image. Well, what's happening there?
Here you can see a hailstorm that happened in Zaragoza, Spain. Well, that's incredible, isn't it? You can see the roads and the fields all white. They're reporting accumulations of up to 21 millimeters of hail.
Well, that's impressive. They're also reporting 12 ballistic missiles, 3 cruise missiles, and 4 drones. Where did this happen?
Here, this is in the United Arab Emirates because of the attacks that have been happening from Iran. Intense.
Well, impressive. Another image that stands out is this one. This, well, involves the Flamingo missile. This missile that has been used over there in Cheboskary, this is within, well, Russia itself. Missile that has been used, well,
It's from an explosion that happened in China at the fireworks factory. You know, they're super explosive and, well, this always happens.
shocking. Well, unfortunately, it's also reported that there are injuries. In fact, it's already being said that 3 people may have lost their lives. This happened over there in that part of the world, in Lujian, China. No, in Lujian, China. Lujian, China. Also, well, this place really stands out. These are images from Fujian, over there in the United Arab Emirates, where they have been, well, is this in the United Arab Emirates? Yes.
These are the attacks that happened. Very, very strange, right? Only in the Emirates.
Only in the Emirates. Well, we're going to talk about the reaction in a moment, okay? Because all the Gulf countries have been coming together to support the United Arab Emirates. We'll talk about what the plan is in a moment. Also, the interesting images from today. Look at Macron, Emmanuel Macron sitting down. But there's a surprise, and you'll see it in a moment. Listen to this. When I saw Macron singing in the video, I thought, wow, that's crazy. And then suddenly later the shot changes and I realized that the Prime Minister of Armenia is sitting there like it's nothing, also playing the drums.
No, they missed copying this one, the one from Russia and the one from Japan.
The one from Japan, right? The one who plays the guitar, right?
The guitar and the drums, both, but the drums more.
Well, then someone grabbed the guitar or someone that... And what does she do? I was clueless.
No, I don't think she plays anything.
No, well then she just makes faces.
That's excellent for making faces.
That's right. Also another image that catches the eye. Well, it's these. The northern lights have already started and there's a G2 alert. A magnetic or geomagnetic storm is happening. This is happening around Earth, and it's already being reported that in some regions of the world, toward the north of America, the north of Europe, and Asia, northern lights are being reported.
Exactly. Strong ones. They started in the afternoon.
Exactly. In theory, they could still be appearing in some regions of the north in the northern hemisphere. That's what's being reported. It's a solar storm that had already, let's say, reached Earth, so to speak. And well, there's also this. Listen to what Donald Trump says.
In this way, when I leave office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself.
Well, he's referring to the fact that he could be president of the United States for another 8 or 9 years. Well, just a joke, just a joke. Or what happened there? How is it? A joke?
Just a joke, I think. But with him, you always wonder, is he joking?
Oh man, maybe it's not a joke. Well, no, suddenly they did make these kinds of comments. Could it be that he wants to hold on to power longer? By the way, at the moment when this president is at his most unpopular, and well, there's also another image we're seeing there.
Here we're seeing some attacks that were carried out by Ukrainian drones. These were attacks on Russian special units armed with machine guns, and well, now they already have protection, sorry. They are receiving extra protection in Russia due to 3 days of Ukrainian drone attacks. Also because May 9th is coming, it's something that makes them very nervous.
It makes them nervous, although today Zelensky said that if Russia doesn't attack these days, the Ukrainians won't fire either, as long as they respect the ceasefire, right? Basically, that's the idea. And also this message from the Secretary of Security, Omar Garcia Harfuch, who says the following.
The federal agency that belongs to the Security Secretariat constantly conducts risk assessments of different officials. Some governors or former governors, when they leave office, request security measures. In this case, it was not a request, but it was also recommended that he have a security team. It's nothing, just a small operation with a few people. I'll give you the details, but I can't share the person's identity. I'll gladly provide all other details. And normally anyway, the number of bodyguards assigned is confidential.
Which situation? What is this situation that the governor is experiencing in particular, and how is it different from what the rest of the citizens experience?
He is a former official, and normally, as you have rightly mentioned, since Sinaloa is also a state where there have been violent incidents, it is considered appropriate for him to have bodyguards.
So, are you afraid that the governor on leave could be attacked?
We have no indication or any information that he could be attacked, or even that he has received any threats. Regarding the spikes, well,
That's part of what Garcia Harfuch says, right? It's part of what's happening right now. And also, well, amid this whole issue, all these developments, it's striking that they assign him a bodyguard, right? They assign a bodyguard to the governor. I mean, honestly, it's not unusual at all for former governors to be given bodyguards. It stands out now only because it's about a specific person. Ñalada por. That's about Garcia, right? From what Garcia says, journalists based on testimonies from different sources have pointed out that this person has ties to criminal groups. So it's obviously also an important issue. The Secretary of Security avoided saying obviously which officers or how many officers. Normally it's a confidential matter, and he assures that they are not afraid that there could be an attack against this, well, governor who is currently on leave, right? Let's move on to other matters. Let's get to the details. Well, today, right, there's a report of a rather interesting and intense situation with the United Arab Emirates. Because there are attacks, there are situations, we're already talking about direct attacks, right? We're talking about missile strikes, drone strikes, attacks with these boats that apparently approach certain points to drop mines. And today the United States says it launched 7, that it attacked, that it sank these 7 boats.
Exactly. The United States, well, Donald Trump said that they had destroyed 7 small Iranian boats with cruise missiles. They were aimed at both U.S. Navy ships, but mainly at merchant ships. That's what the CENTCOM command reports. And, well, Donald Trump says that the United States response was to destroy these small boats, which, by the way, some media report as 6, others as 7, but the number is around there. And there are also media outlets. Muérete, which is a Russian media outlet, claims that some of the boats they took out were not from the Revolutionary Guard, that they were supposedly civilian. But, well, we won't know that. That's what one side says and what the other says. In the end, Russia will always side more with Iran.
Yeah, besides, I mean, it's not hard for them to lie, to say whatever it takes just to stick with the narrative they want. The thing here is that several details have come out that have been confirmed over time. For example, the attack or attacks not only on the ships trying to pass through, but also on a series of refineries in this area or refinery facilities belonging to the United Arab Emirates. This whole situation has caused a reaction. There was also a very forceful reaction from the Gulf side, with the United Arab Emirates first issuing a warning. Look, the United Arab Emirates says it will respond, and this time it won't do things halfway. The United Arab Emirates says it is receiving support from all the Gulf countries. The Emirati authorities described the bombings as an unacceptable transgression and condemned the use of weapons against civilian targets. They say they will respond, said the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That country stated in a communique that it reserves the full and legitimate right to respond to those attacks in a way that guarantees the protection of sovereignty, national security, and territorial integrity in accordance with international law. The statements come after not just one but several incidents in the area in which basically what Iran said today is, and they even showed the map and everything. They said we control from here up to this area. I mean, but this belongs to the United Arab Emirates. Yes, but I need to know all of this. This whole body of water, well, it belongs to the United Arab Emirates in any case. So how do you control that area? Who gave you permission? What's going on? Besides, it's not just that. Things started to get weird when they told the ships they were on the United Arab Emirates' side. Go back to Dubai. If you don't, there will be consequences. Then they attack a granary. Then they attack a ship in this area. A un barco petro from the UAE state-owned company responsible for that. Then there's the explosion of a South Korean ship also on the Emirates side.
Exactly. In fact, the ship operated by South Korea, which caught fire after this explosion, will be towed to a nearby port for inspection and repairs. This was also reported today. Well, actually, for them, it's already Tuesday. South Korea's foreign minister says they will carry out investigations to determine the exact cause of the fire after it is towed.
Well, that's how things are. I mean, that's the approach they're taking in this regard. No? Well, what else is happening out there? No.
Well, one topic that drew a lot of attention is the fact that Trump doesn't want to say whether the ceasefire is over or not, if it's still in effect or not, because at the end of the day, today there were attacks on the United Arab Emirates, but he did downplay it. He didn't discuss the issue and didn't want to make too much of it. And today, in this meeting that took place, where there were obviously media present and where he mentioned the 8 or 9 years as president, several journalists, like a conservative named Hugh Hewitt, asked him if the ceasefire was over, and he said, well, I can't tell you that. That's what he said. I don't know if he answered that question. You would say that this man is not intelligent enough to be your president. I mean, I don't answer it because I'm too smart to say it. So, well, that really means the ceasefire doesn't exist. There was already an attack. There's no ceasefire anymore, of course. They themselves took out 7 ships.
Let's see if this one, like I said, in the end, he's not going to give an answer, right? Because, well,
the issue with Congress gets complicated because he says, no, I'm not going to ask Congress for permission because the war is already over militarily, but we're still seeing military movements. The Central Command is still carrying out attacks.
So, well, that's how they're opening up. And let's look at the map because this is really interesting in terms of, let's say, movement. What are they saying? What's the official version right now from both sides? The United States says they've already opened it. In other words, there's already a corridor. That was the official report. There is no corridor. Let me remove this dot because the red dot is no longer related to this. There we go. There's a corridor, and this corridor crosses the area that's not right next to Iran, let's say. It crosses this area. Here is the strait. It doesn't cross it. They said there's a corridor. The American ships have already entered. They made it to this side. In theory, they cleared the mines in that area. It's not that they cleared everything, but in that area, they've already removed the mines. Okay, that's fine. And the most interesting thing was that they said we went back this way and escorted 2 commercial ships. Perfect. And the big question is, which commercial ships? What are their names? It's very easy. I mean, they all have a record. And we can verify specifically they were there yesterday. Now they're here. It's that easy. And with that, all doubts are cleared. When this is asked, everyone wonders, which ones are they? And the Iranians said, well, no, that's not true. I mean, it's not because Iranians are more or less dishonest. No, 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 simply because in this case it was very easy to verify whether that was really the case. I mean, with this, honestly, it's not very clear how the situation really is. Plus, one more detail, or if it's already been released. Well, that's what they said. Returning to the map, they didn't mention if the road is open or its color. And why only two? I mean, if there's already a corridor there, it's already open. Why not more ships? Well, what has been discussed from the business point of view is that the shipping companies are wary, they don't trust it. I mean, they're scared that if they go out, no one guarantees the ship, the people, or the oil. I mean, no one guarantees anything at all. You go at your own risk. So they say, why should we go out? And you will.
Let's see, just one thing. They've already confirmed which was one of the ships that this Danish company Maersk sent through, confirming that their ship managed to cross the Strait of Hormuz. That's what they say, thanks to the protection of the US military, and that all the crew members are safe. And it's the ship called Fairfax. It had been in the Gulf since the war broke out in February. They've been there for quite a while and couldn't leave. And they said they were recently contacted by the forces. The United States Navy offered them the opportunity for the ship to leave the Gulf with US military protection, and they accepted.
Of course, they came in.
Exactly. And what you say is very true, Pepe. The shipping executives don't want to take the risk. They don't want to risk crossing the Strait of Hormuz. It's an issue. And besides, many ships from the United States and Israel, or those that have ties with Israel, don't have insurance. I mean, they can't get insurance anymore.
No, either they're too expensive or they simply can't get them. But the point is that, well, at least we already know about one, right? And that's really important. So we would have to go check the price of oil, right? I mean, is it going down? Is it going up? Well, look, right now the markets are still nervous, but they're not super nervous. I mean, it could be worse. I mean, Asia has already opened, Japan has already opened, China has already opened, and so on. So we can see how oil is doing in those Asian markets. And right now it's still at 118, basically the same as it closed. It closed at 118.90 and now it's at 118.05. So it went down a little bit, but we don't know yet. It's not really a drop. We'll have to wait a bit longer. We've been checking this since the afternoon. A few hours have passed and the price is still holding there. Which one is it? Where's Brent? Brent is at $104. So Brent doesn't seem to be moving either, but notice that Brent isn't active right now. So the one that's active is this one, the English one. Why? Because the English one is more tied to Asian markets, and well, at least for now it's at 118. Let me reload the page again to see if it changed, because sometimes it doesn't reload properly. 117 points, 117.99. There's the chart, 117.98. It's moving, it's active. So, well, let's see what happens with that. Let's move on to important matters. Meanwhile, Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, also has his own issues. He describes the escalation by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard as madness as tensions rise in Tehran. In other words, he does not agree with this escalation. Information obtained by the independent Iranian media outlet Iran International indicates that there is a confrontation. There is a confrontation between Masoud Pezeshkian and the country's military leadership, and he thinks that what the Revolutionary Guard is doing, it's simply madness and it's going to lead us to a wider war. According to sources familiar with Tehran's deliberations, Pezeshkian has expressed his deep outrage at the actions of the Revolutionary Guard Corps led by Ahmad Bahidi, calling the missile and drone attacks against the Emirates completely irresponsible. So Pezeshkian does not agree with attacking just based on arbitrary judgments, especially against the people of the United Arab Emirates.
Exactly. All of this happened without any knowledge. The government isn't informed or involved with the Revolutionary Guard Corps' actions. And this tension that's happening in the Gulf, he says, is madness. That's what Pezeshkian says, and he warned that there will obviously be potentially irreversible consequences. He had already said it. In fact, one of the security advisors from the Emirates, if I'm not mistaken, said that it was very difficult to trust Iran again. No, at least the current government, after what they've experienced, the United Arab Emirates, let's remember, is one of the countries most attacked by Iran. Why? Well, no, it's not very clear to me why it's them, right? But there seems to be something there. They do seem to like attacking them, and the situation is getting worse. Obviously, Pezeshkian has requested an urgent meeting with Khamenei to push for the immediate cessation of attacks by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard against the Gulf states to prevent things from escalating. We have to remember that, well, 2 days after the attack, Pezeshkian released a video apologizing to the Gulf countries. But 3 minutes later, the Revolutionary Guard basically mocked the president of Iran. In the end, the president of Iran doesn't really have any power.
Well, Pezeshkian is basically there as a kind of puppet, but in the end, I mean, he must have some power to at least influence certain sectors. Well, we have to remember that when he came in, he was an opponent of Ali Khamenei.
He was the moderate.
He was the moderate. He was the one who was, let's say, from the other faction, the one not close to Ali Khamenei. I mean, at the end of the day, it's clearly a theocratic country, and the supreme leader is the one who's truly in control. And this time, since there is no supreme leader, because honestly, who knows where Mojtaba Khamenei is, the ones who really control things are clearly the Revolutionary Guard. Now, something else.
Yes. Well, according to these sources that release this information and pass it on to Iran International, Pezeshkian is extremely worried about what could happen with these attacks and believes that the country won't be able to withstand a new large-scale war. I mean, if there are more strong attacks and Gulf countries join in, they won't be able to handle it. They say they don't even need to. If our infrastructure and economy are attacked, it's already in a supercritical position, if not almost dead already, so they won't be able to withstand it.
Well, Iran, on the other hand, is also making a very big move where little by little as this goes on, it's becoming more hostile with European and Asian countries. They haven't liked these reactions. The fact that they fired at a South Korean ship, for example, is crazy because at the end of the day, South Korea, look, well, it's not a country that, it's a peaceful country. It's not a country that gets involved in that kind of trouble. And for you to attack that country, right now, it's the third country, the third biggest arms seller in the world. An armed country has strength and power, and if it joins the conflict, which Donald Trump already encouraged by saying, hey, you guys should come help us, and so on, maybe they'll get involved. Right now, I don't think so yet, but they're making enemies. And now it's known. Another shocking fact. A Swedish citizen was reportedly killed by the Iranians, and not only did they eliminate him, but they also sent his body to a mass grave. Nothing else will be known because they buried him there along with other bodies that haven't been claimed. And unfortunately, this is a terrible situation for the family members and for Sweden. According to reports from Iranian security agents, they secretly buried the body of an Iranian Swedish citizen named Kusor Kevani in the Karbaran area on the outskirts of Tehran after his execution in March. This was on accusations that he was a spy for Israel. They accuse him, eliminate him, execute him, and then bury him in a mass grave. Obviously, this is expected to possibly provoke a reaction from Sweden as well. And I insist, this is only creating more trouble. And today Macron said that they're watching and they're thinking how to approach the issue with Iran in order to try to calm things down. Honestly, I don't know. I don't see how someone like Macron or a person like that could convince them, if even those closest to them, not even the Iranians themselves, have been able to convince them to dial things back a bit. Pakistan and other countries haven't been able to do it, so France is seen as having little influence in the area, let's put it that way. So, well, these are promises Macron makes, but he can't really deliver on. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. Let's move on to other matters, other important topics as well. A huge greeting to the whole community that's joining. Thank you so much to everyone coming in, hitting the like button, go ahead and share, and well, let's move on to other matters. Greetings, Ove, how have you been? La Partida Blues, hello there. Hey, how are you doing, Rubles? Damien, big greetings. How have you been? Thanks so much to the entire Francisco Arce Rubles community. There was a bit of a scare in Mexico City today. That's how it goes. He already has some things ready for the event, and before saying that, he has been around Chapultepec Park. In fact, he was going to upload some pictures. I haven't seen if he already did, but I remind you that we have a community area where you can share. Well, if you upload a photo, a comment, or something, the whole community will see it, just so you know, and stay tuned. Let me check to see what's most recent. Look, this is what Jose uploaded over there in Mexico City. No, there it is. Look, this is what he uploaded today. A little while ago, well, this is part of what has been posted. Let's see what else. Well, this one is also from Jose. This one is from 4 days ago with his little chickens over there in California. So there are posts, right? And here's a message from Ben. By the way, greetings. Look, he left his message. All right. For example, there you see he left a message, he left a comment, he shared an opinion, and well, there it is, right? I mean, the community can see it or respond and say, well, I don't agree, I do agree, or whatever, I don't know. But there are more pictures of Jose here, but I didn't see them well. Look, because it has arrows and you can use them to see what other pictures there are. And just look, he's having a hard time. He's having a hard time with a sandwich with fries and, well, with some pickles. This, well, I guess it must be the hotel or something like that, I suppose. Just look at the view. There's the view of Mexico City. I imagine that's Chapultepec Park. I'm not sure, but it's huge. It's the park, not the castle. I think so. A big shout out to Jose. I don't know if he's watching us live right now, but anyway, we appreciate him sharing some photos here with the community. Let's move on to other important matters as well. It is reported that Russia may have lost territory after the counterattacks that Ukraine has been carrying out. The Russian forces lost territory that they had managed to conquer in Ukraine throughout the month of April, reversing Moscow's trend for the first time. We had mentioned it to you here. The trend is changing. There has been a confrontation since 2023 with small advances but not much progress. And little by little they have tried to move forward. But the Institute for the Study of War, the ISW, what they do is from the photos they get, from the messages, photos they obtain, they measure and do what is called digital forensic analysis, let's say, in which they show. Look, this photo was taken exactly at this point, and that's how they keep track of where the Ukrainian forces really are and where the Russian forces are. And with that, they can confirm, because in wars, it's very easy for each side's narrative to say, we're winning, we're doing this. But with this institute, this organization, what they do is exactly that. They try to show more or less the reality of what's happening based, I insist, on forensic analysis, satellite imagery, and so on. So with that, they say that between March and April, the Russian army lost control of about 120 square kilometers a shift. That reflects a change in the trend of the war.
Exactly. There are problems within the Russian military, like the issue of command and control. When they lose their leader, they don't know what to do. They also have communication problems, like the issue with Starlink, which has affected them a lot. Drones have become more lethal and are being used more frequently because, well, Ukraine has increased its industry to make their own drones, and they're causing damage. That's true on both sides. The issue with drones affects both sides. And Russia's rate of advance started to slow down since the end of 2025 when Starlink was taken away from them. This affected them a lot, and also a series of very precise strikes carried out by Ukraine, which managed to break through positions at certain strategic points held by Russia. According to the ISW, it highlights that Ukraine's medium-range attacks and Russia's restrictions on Starlink, as well as the tightening of control over messaging platforms, are significant. Telegram, the fact that they took away Telegram, that is, that Russia removed Telegram to control the government's narrative. It's also affecting the soldiers because they use it a lot to communicate with each other, to send messages like, look, we're here, we're there, and so on. Yes. Well, that's also affecting them in terms of the progress of the war. Putin's paranoia is affecting his own side.
Well, that's how things are, right? The progress that was being made by Russia for a while, well, first, the amount of progress started to decrease, right? I was saying they suddenly started fighting over meters, right?
Yes.
2 or 3 weeks would pass like that, and we'd ask, did we make progress? How much? Well, 100 meters, a block, whatever. And now, a setback of 120 kilometers, well, that's no small thing. The precision strikes, the drones, the chaos of being left blind when they take away your Starlink. All of that has been adding up, let's say, to this whole situation. In resilience, the ability to keep making alliances with different countries. Come on, these are strategies. Strategies from one side and strategies from the other. By the way, Russia declared a truce for May 9th and threatened, saying it would raise Kiev if Ukraine doesn't respect it, and Ukraine responded by saying, oh, they need a parade and they need our help. It's required.
They want military aid?
They require that we don't attack them or respond to the invasion so they can have their little parade. Well, alright, we'll give them a chance, and if they want it so much, we'll give them that opportunity. But Zelensky says if they attack us, if they don't keep their word, then obviously we will respond. So it's like saying, okay, we're doing them a favor. Basically, that's the message. Basically, that's what Ukraine is putting out there. And even so, you can still see these movements. This truce hasn't started yet, but you can still see attacks, right? On this occasion, for example, this is one of the flamingos that would have hit this. Well, this is in Cherchevorskari.
Exactly. There is a specific plant that makes electronics or certain electronic devices that are used in the war.
Well, that's part of what's happening in that area, and well, let's move on to other important points. There is a conflict that is still far from being over, obviously. A war that has lasted 4 years, but also a very paranoid Putin. I mean, today, if you can watch the live stream we did in the afternoon where a report was given, in what has been happening in recent months with Vladimir Putin, there is a political purge, there is a military purge, and he is extremely distrustful even of Sergei Shoigu. Shoigu, who was his close friend, who became the Minister of Defense, and now they say that this person might be very close to carrying out a coup d'etat. There is a significant probability of a coup d'etat in Russia. Vladimir Putin doesn't want to appear. He has everything super controlled, people close to him, people in his inner circle, but basically they're aides. I mean, the boss, all the people who work there used to have the freedom to use the internet and things like that. Well, now even they have had their internet blocked. The paranoia is at its peak.
Yes, there are red lines and the internet is one of them.
Once they start messing with the internet.
Wow, it's not hard for us.
Careful, yes, careful. Well, okay,
It doesn't bring out the monkey in us,
yeah, right. It's like our primitive side doesn't come out.
so to speak. Honestly, governments should go another way, like making super entertaining shows for us gossip so we stay up all night.
That whole La Casa de los Famosos thing, right? With that, I don't even know anymore.
Santos allá.
Well, yes, it's also part of the strategies. How have you been, Eddie? Hello, greetings, Martin. Nice to see you. Greetings. Danny Farm. Greetings to Beatriz Alvarez and the entire community. Thank you to everyone, especially channel members. You know, right? Well, that they support us in different ways. We really appreciate it a lot. I want to be around there. Walter Karim, what's up? How have you been? Awesome. Waldo Andres, also a huge greeting to the whole community that's joining in. Thank you so much. But what do you think? He considers eliminating octopus hunting due to its intellectual level, believing those lacking intelligence can be eliminated. But who has that rule? Who made that rule to test their fishing? Look, for years now, groups of scientists have had this idea. We mentioned it on the Green Route, yes, when the Green Route channel was active. There was a group of scientists who were in England who talked about intelligent living beings, not humans. No, we shouldn't use them for food. What they said was, look at these. These animals have shown that they have culture, meaning it's not just an instinctive thing, but there's a culture behind it. They have, let's call them little schools, so to speak, and they go with the little dolphin, let's say, and they go and teach them things and use tools. So that's already a very advanced, highly developed level of animal intelligence, and they compared it to humans. Just imagine that living being is as intelligent as a 4-year-old child. If the child wanted to and put in the effort, they could read, they could do a lot of things. So back then, they would make a list. Now, they would make a list. We're talking about 10 years ago. They would make a list of animals like the dolphin, the orangutan. I don't remember which of the different apes were on the list. And at that time, the octopus wasn't on the list, by the way, but with what has been discovered about the octopus and other species. I just feel like that topic should be considered. at least consider it, right? I mean, that's how I feel. At that time, the comment from those scientists caused controversy because people were saying, oh, maybe they're also preparing the idea of intelligent non-human beings, but from other parts of the universe, so to speak, right? But anyway, there was controversy and all that, but nothing happened, right? And this keeps going. Yes, every year I hear that we should consider it. Well, up to now, I don't think so. No, that's not being done yet, right? But anyway. But now maybe there's a country that does it, right? Like always, right? Some start and then little by little it spreads. The thing is, the WHO, the World Health Organization, has already confirmed 7 because before, only one case of hantavirus was confirmed and the others weren't. Obviously, if you see that one case of hantavirus is confirmed and a lot more people are feeling sick and some are already in serious condition, and since some have died, obviously you say this is hantavirus logically, but it had to be confirmed. It's not the same, it has to be confirmed. So, well, now the organization has confirmed it. There are 7 confirmed cases. Obviously, there could be more on the cruise ship. It says 7 cases of hantavirus on the cruise ship, already confirmed by this organization, 2 confirmed and 5 suspected at first. After confirming the 7, there are others.
Of these 5, 3 have already died, 3 died, 1 is in critical condition, and 3 still have mild symptoms. Contact tracing is also underway for a flight the infected passenger boarded, and it's more or less similar to the case of one of the people who lost their life very quickly. An adult male who began to have symptoms like fever, pain, headache, and mild diarrhea on April 6th when he was already on the cruise. By April 11th, he already had a serious problem. He had respiratory problems and died that same day. Just imagine, from the 6th to the 11th, no biological test was done, meaning they didn't check for any bacteria or anything. The body was simply left on a ship that took it to the island of St. Helena on April 24th. So the body was inside the cruise ship from the 11th to the 24th. And the other case is a woman, it doesn't say her age, by the way, a woman who was in contact with the first man we talked about. She went to St. Helena on the 24th, already having a gastrointestinal problem. I mean, she also got off along with the body. Yes, then her condition worsened during her trip. She took a plane to Johannesburg in southern Africa on April 25th and then lost her life in the emergency room. On the 25th, she took the plane, and on the 26th, she lost her life. On May 4th, the case is sequenced, and it is confirmed that it is a hantavirus infection. And right now, the autopsy is being performed. So it includes everyone who was on that flight from St. Helena to Johannesburg in southern Africa. That's shocking. I mean, that after COVID, we're still making those mistakes.
I mean, mistakes that make you wonder how it's possible, but it happened. We should have learned the protocols for situations or cases like this so they don't spread, so there aren't problems to stop them. Because look, let's see. It would be very naive to think that outbreaks will never happen. No, outbreaks are going to happen from many other things, right? That's normal, but there are millions of us, and it's normal for things to suddenly appear as health challenges, so to speak. No, yes, because it's spoiled. Yes, because I don't know, due to a zoonotic virus or something. But the protocols, how are they not being followed the way they should be? On a cruise ship, I mean, if we learned anything during the pandemic, it's that cruise ships, well, they are. I mean, they have a tremendous potential for diseases because everyone is there. A large group of people packed together, staying for a long time without going out much, eating the same food and breathing the same air.
And well, case 1 and case 2 traveled all over South America, including Argentina, and it's known that they boarded the cruise ship on April 1st. So they possibly already had the disease, spreading it across South America, and case 3 is an adult who went to see the cruise ship doctor on April 24th. He had a fever, he couldn't breathe well, he had shortness of breath, pneumonia symptoms on the 26th, and his condition got worse. And so they decided to leave him or evacuate him in Ascension in South Africa on April 27th. Right now, he's in the hospital in intensive care, and they did a test to make sure if he had or didn't have what is called the hantavirus. So it's already confirmed as of May 2nd. There's a case, a lady also who showed what they said was pneumonia, and she lost her life on May 2nd. He also had the same symptoms since April 28th. And right now there are suspected cases with a fever, intestinal problems, just like the other cases, and they are still on board the ship. We have to remember that Cabo Verde didn't want them to disembark. So, well, it's an issue that's still pending. The UN is looking into the WHO is looking into how to evacuate the people who are there. There's also a famous YouTuber on board who's saying that everything is fine. That was the case. We don't know what to do since many passengers are asking them to do something so they can get off. It's kind of like a deja vu of the Japan cruise ship case. It wasn't Japan at first, but everything happened there anyway.
Everything ended up happening in Japan. I mean, well, I don't know what you all think here, but I understand that the country doesn't want to get involved in blocks. I get that part, but there should be a protocol that says, okay, let's see. Well, they can leave, but under quarantine, right? I mean, because how are you going to just leave them there, right? Yes, I mean, under quarantine. Look, here it is. Let's say it's a tourist area. It's a place that has to be prepared for that. Look, here we have this little one. Archipelago, this little island or whatever. Here they are. Look, here are some cabins, whatever. There will be people ready, doctors, whatever. And well, they will come in those cases. It's only open for those cases. I don't know. I'm going to use, it would have to be thought out in a way that's viable, right? For this.
Yes, now my question is whether the virus is transmitted from person to person. It's just
Supposedly, to begin with, transmission from animals is rare. Yes, it's rare for it to spread to humans. No,
it isn't spread person to person, but it exists.
it is transmitted from person to person, and you're already seeing that it's an issue that so far they haven't said anything to the PAHO. If it is transmitted from person to person, just imagine.
It says this is a very rare case. Only one strain of the Andes virus with human-to-human transmission through close, prolonged physical contact has been confirmed. So, wow, it's complicated because they were in South America, sorry. They were in South America traveling around. Maybe they caught it there because apparently it's very common in South America. It's not very common, but there have been cases.
If there's a misunderstanding, it's bad. Well, the issue of human-to-human transmission hasn't happened here. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed in this case, and I don't know if it's being studied, but where does the infection come from? Wouldn't that be the big question? I don't see how it happened. I mean, how did it start? Are there suspicions about where it started or which city?
No, there aren't. I mean, it's just said that the first cases were in South America, specifically Argentina, and they took the cruise, but that's before they started feeling sick, but nothing else is said.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye on what happens in that regard, and here, well, we'll be giving all the details for the whole community that watches us on replay. Also leave your comments, since many of you from Uruguay and Argentina watch us at different times. Let us know if you've heard anything over there. It would be interesting to hear your opinions, and obviously from those who are watching live as well. What's up? How are you? Novak's dad, Tapatia, Rublox, and to those who hardly ever comment, go ahead and leave a comment. Join the conversation. Roberto, how have you been? Roberto Carreras, Francisco, good evening. Let's move on to other important topics. It's a very curious case with the person who loses. Not that they lose, but rather they try to shoot or attack officials from the United States in Washington, including Donald Trump. We're talking about a former professor. Well, yes, because he's no longer going to be a professor, named Paul Allen. Well then. He entered the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. carrying weapons. Well, but he's already in jail. He's not appearing before a judge for trial and all that. But they've been making a series of terrible mistakes against this person. And look, he could be the worst person in the world, but there are certain rules in the law that have to be followed. For example, if he requests a Bible or any sacred book, they must provide it. He asked for his Bible because they claimed he wasn't Christian, but he says he is, and I have nothing against religion. I mean, one of the very first things he asked for was a Bible, but they didn't give it to him. I mean, and it's an issue that's looked down upon in the United States. There were so many mistakes made, and he was treated so badly in certain ways that even the federal judge handling the case apologized to him publicly. Because of the legally deficient treatment, he said, not that he agrees with him or anything. Simply that As an accused person and suspect and whatever you want to call it, well, he has to be treated a certain way. Well,
He's human.
human but normal treatment. What things have been going wrong for him to apologize? This.
Well, to begin with, they didn't give him the Bible. They also kept him in isolation, which has been highly criticized because it was requested that he be kept under observation since he might possibly take his own life, but they haven't done it. They kept him isolated for quite a long time, which is a really complicated issue. It's not mentally healthy for a human being to be like that, and isolation means being alone in a room. Basically, no, they don't have any contact. And today at the hearing, the federal judge, Faruqi expressed this concern about the way he has been treated. He said, "Whatever happened, I apologize." He also said that every person in custody must be treated with the basic dignity that every human being deserves.
Well, that's what the judge says. Obviously, it's a topic that has generated controversy, especially the fact that he apologized publicly. That really caught people's attention. That's the issue.
Exactly. The main points are that he should be under suicide watch, isolated for 23 hours a day in a padded cell, separated from the rest of the prison population, and have restricted access to a Bible.
Well, that's the situation. That's what's been generating controversy lately. Let's move on to other important matters. Thank you.
Well, we have a comment from Abbas Agarashi, the Iranian foreign minister, who today said that the Liberty Project plan, as Donald Trump has called this intention to open the Strait of Hormuz, he has called it the Deadlock Project because he says that a military operation will not unblock the Strait of Hormuz, that for that, diplomacy is needed and it's something that's missing. A message shared on social media said this. Tagarashi described the deployment, the US deployment, as a deadlock project in an attempt, obviously, to make the United States look bad because it's not doing anything. Diplomacy is always tried first, but Iran consistently makes it very difficult. That's why.
Them shooting.
Yes, that helps too. They shoot at anyone they want. And the fact that every time they go to negotiate, they present the same darn 14 points, which, well, they've already been told no, that it's not going to be like that. And, well, they're basically at a standstill.
They're both deadlocked. And surely, and now, well, what's the fault now really of the Emirates or other countries? But obviously, there's also a different background there. At the same time, the message, because it's been a war. Today was a day of powerful messages, and we have to remember that the United States is already making military visits to China because they're taking everything they need to have Trump there, since Trump is going to visit Xi Jinping. And, well, the United States issued a warning to Xi Jinping to China saying, well, telling China that it can't or shouldn't buy oil because buying oil from the Iranians is basically financing terrorism. That's what the United States is telling China, but we have to remember that China has always been more pragmatic in that sense, meaning they don't really care as long as it doesn't affect them directly. They don't really care. In fact, China was one of the first countries to immediately establish a relationship, for example, with the Taliban. Why would they need to do that? Well, there are strategies, there are things they need there, and they quickly started making friends, even though it's openly a terrorist group and continues to be so without any
shame.
Right? And in that sense, China doesn't joke around at all.
They don't have a problem with how you run your government or treat your population as long as you do business with them and let them keep a little piece of your country.
A tiny little piece.
Just a tiny bit, just the mines and the...
Mines and ports. This one was good. It's intense. Now let's move on to other important matters as well.
Well, the United States is updating the current situation in the Strait of Hormuz and says that there are approximately ships from 87 countries that remain detained in the strait. So it's a complicated situation. Commander Brad Cooper, who leads the Southern Command, the CENTCOM, explained that the international fleet is stuck in the Arabian Gulf and represents countries from all continents. And he said that they are neutral and innocent observers. They are people. Or ships from countries that are not involved in the conflict, like in the case of South Korea. And, well, they are already affected at this moment.
Well, 8. How many? 88?
Ships from 87 countries. Ships.
80 countries. Impressive. They don't mention the number at all.
Let me check if it mentions how many. That would be interesting.
They mentioned 2,000, then 1,500, then 3,000, and then 4,000. I still don't know the exact number since it's changed a lot. Besides, suddenly some of them might get out with agreements paying a fee or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation. Let's move on to other topics, shall we? If today we put a poll, because we haven't put one up today, but if we did, what poll would you suggest? What poll do you think we should put up? You choose, pick the poll, and we'll put it up right now, okay?
If the estimates range from 170 to 800, then it's really variable.
Yeah, no, that data is wrong there. No. I mean, we're talking about thousands. I mean, this one, no. Maybe it was just an oil tanker, that's all.
I put ships,
That's not how you install it.
but another report based on other reports says 20,000 sailors.
That figure, the one they've been mentioning and the White House mentioned of 20,000 sailors, which is probably just an estimate too. But anyway, well, he says, for the poll, when do you think Trump will completely lose his mind?
What did I say? That's on Polymarket just to make it fun.
There will be a World Cup too, that's good. Well, and I don't think we've done one. We only did one when we were still innocent, just when this was starting, and it's not going to happen. There were other challenges, but not this level of challenge that there is now. Alex Flores, how have you been, Alex? It's been a while since I saw so many of you comment. I'm really glad, says Alex. Excellent evening, gentlemen. These are difficult times and atonic acts. So, in our shared humanity, be human and don't glorify the death of children, says Alex Flores. Greetings, Alex. Alex, how have you been? Francisco Maestro Shifo, how have you been? Greetings. You say a time traveler, says Maestro, says EDM. There have always been two laws, one for the powerful and another for the ordinary person, says Eddie. Greetings, Eddie. Says neither from here nor from here. Who am I? Good evening. How have you been? Greetings. Neither from here. Come, Christy, thank you. How have you been, Edilcia? Very good. Greetings to Panama. Well, let's move on to another matter. Let's go to other important topics and we'll put up a poll in a moment. How is it? How is it? What's going on? This one is interesting. It's, well, strange at the same time, right? I mean, it has a little bit of everything. The atmosphere is kind of festive because, well, in the end. Well, the World Cup, people are waiting for the World Cup. A lot of people don't even know what's going on or what's happening in the world, but the World Cup does get their attention. So, well, that's how it is. That's the situation.
Greetings to Martin Gutierrez. How many assassination attempts will there be against Trump before December? There was another poll, but I think it's very intense. Greetings, I'm going to get us scolded, he says. Greetings to Pixel Alex Flores, you say. I'm doing very well, gentlemen. Thank you for asking. I hope you are all doing very well. Greetings to...
Very good, Alex. Greetings.
It's pronounced Sendeño with this sedicia, and Papa Novak says China is buying oil as if the world were ending in the second quarter of 2025. Yes, we talked about that. It has quite a lot in reserve. According to a publication from Sataka, China knew something. I sent you the news. We already talked about it.
Yes, we talked about it.
We talked about it. Well, greetings to Martin Gutierrez. The longest war in history, in hysteria, in contemporary history will be the war between Ukraine and Russia. Well, right now it has already surpassed World War II. I don't know if like Vietnam wasn't a war. I mean...
No, not this one either. I mean...
It's not a war for Russia, but for Ukraine it is.
Well, it's the same here too. I mean, it wasn't a war for the United States, nor for, but yeah, it was.
But it was, says Leonardo Papilla. If the survey were better, where will food prices be in December of this year? How much will your percentage increase?
Yes, yes, yes. That's good too.
Damn, damn. Greetings, greetings, greetings also to Ben. How are you, Ben? Tabi is here too and says, today my first child was born. And even in the hospital, I don't miss the live streams. Greetings, congratulations. Greetings, Tabi.
Congratulations, congratulations. Was it a boy or a girl, Tabi? Well, a big hug for you.
Son, she says her first son.
No, no, no. I mean, yes, her first son. Yes, yes, no. Congratulations. It's a pleasure, right? And it's also such a pleasure and an honor, honestly, that she can be here with us for a little while. I saw a bunch of congratulations, but I thought, whose birthday was it or what was going on there? Oh, that's cool. That's really nice. And well, can we know their name? Well, congratulations. And that's really cool. That's really cool. What else?
Greetings. And it says there, Beto Barbas. Hello, Beto Barros. Sorry. It says, I had already mentioned to you that the hardest part of the 3-week war is the first 4 years, right? That's the most complicated part. That's the hardest, right? And they're not even at war. Greetings. Greetings to Fulano, Tapati, and MT as well. How are you, MT? What's up, MT? Rublo MX is here too. MT says, greetings, greetings also to, says Ben. A former US president can be governor of a state as long as they meet the constitutional requirements of that specific state and there are no state legal impediments, says Ben. I mean, in case Donald Trump wanted to, I don't think that he'd be interested in being governor, honestly. I don't see him doing that.
Governor?
Governor? I mean, no. Can you imagine wanting to be governor after being president?
No, you mean from
Trump.
But governor of what?
Well, I don't know where he's from. Let's say New York. No. Well, to begin with, in New York, he would lose. That's for sure. Yeah. No. No. I mean, governor.
I mean, maybe head of the Fed or the Fed, not governor of the Fed. Maybe he could have some interest in that, right? Because, well, that involves, I mean, where there's insider information, that's where he'll be. That's where he'll want to be. That's where he'll be.
Dad Nueva says, well, today is International Firefighters Day, honoring the hard work and sacrifices of these people, and it's also Star Wars Day.
Also.
May the Force be with you.
Something like that, yeah.
Greetings too. Fer Hernandez says, we're starting to worry, Pepe. Hyperinflation is coming. I'm changing the wiring in 2 houses I have, and I'm painting and waterproofing them before everything goes up, says Fer Hernandez. That's good, Fer. I mean, honestly, it's a good idea to buy everything beforehand because, yeah, I mean, I don't know where you are, but here in Mexico, it's already happening. For example, architects say that there are certain costs, like the PVC pipe that's used for plumbing. Well, it's already gone up 75% about 2 weeks ago. I don't know if it's gone up more now. Greetings to Martin Castaneda. How are you? Greetings to Ingrid and Pepe. How are you, Martin?
Hello, Martin. Greetings.
Greetings, Sylvia. How are you, Sylvia? Good early morning to everyone. Greetings, Sylvia. Greetings also to Panterita. As Pepe Nauta says, excellent night. Greetings. And also greetings to who greeted us, to Ruth. She says, good morning, Pepe. Greetings from England. Greetings, Ruth. What's up? Greetings. Eating cookies. Leaving my like and thanking you for the information and for keeping us up to date with everything that is happening worldwide.
Thanks and greetings to England. That's great.
Greetings to you too. Let's see who has greeted us. Leonardo, Ofe, how are you, Ofe? Oh, Mandrade, greetings, Emma. And Nova's dad says that on a day like today, in 1979, Margaret Thatcher was elected head of the United Kingdom government, the first woman to be elected to that position. The Iron Lady, and very tough, the first woman, and very tough. And also, it was really funny because we were watching a movie or a series, I don't remember, wherein the actress who played Margaret Thatcher, well, they did a lot of things. Obviously, it's kind of a biopic, and she did things because you think, well, a person who is a prime minister is probably very, a woman for the first time in history, you would think she would be very progressive in her ideas, right? There are things like that you imagine, no, but she would come home every day to make dinner for her husband. I mean, you think, how curious, it doesn't fit. You wouldn't imagine that someone at that level would care about doing the same things as a typical housewife from the 60s or 70s.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that part.
Yes, we saw in a movie or series, I can't remember which, that she had to go home to make dinner for her husband, which really worried her.
And then there's the other one, the hungry husband.
The husband is hungry. He can't even cook himself an egg. Greetings to Damian Gonzalez. How are you, Damian?
How a while back I worked with the Bonaro guys, remember?
Very nice voice.
One was English. My son insisted, really. He said I'd love the food there and more, and I asked, what do they eat there? Fish, potatoes, mayonnaise, he says the best, he says. But it's just that he says really, he was a big fan of his country's food and his country.
Right? Like tacos.
He would say, please, you have to visit London someday, you'll love it. And I was like, no, but actually, yes.
Because he could tell by your face that you liked French fries. I think that
He must have said he likes tea, he likes chips, what are they called?
French fries.
He saw class, he saw class. No, well, who knows? But yes, obviously, well, here we took them to several places, and I was calling my friends in Mexico City, like, hey, where do you recommend? We visited several recommended taquerias, including one in particular.
It was good. That one wasn't good.
Yes, it was good.
It was good. It was the one from the party.
No, it was good. Yes, it's just that one was good, another was from Google, and another was, I don't know what. And to a mezcal bar. Yes, a mezcal bar too. That mezcal bar was very pretentious, I mean, that's it.
For you to tell me that it's pretentious, that it's super pretentious.
Yeah, like the cans would come out like that. I mean, the food was served to you in a can, everything looked all fancy, and then it came in a can. I mean, in a can, literally in a can.
To me, that's an insult.
They would take off the label and it would come in the can, and they would open it for you in the can, just like that. You. Like that, right in front of you, the can, just like that, fresh from the can, there it is, and eat it from the can with Maria cookies like that. No, not Maria cookies, salty ones, and pour in the cans and mezcal. How much? $500 just like that. Like, all right, there it is. Well, I wasn't paying, so I mean, it was like, but a friend recommended it to me. Yeah, also, so I could ask him, or a really cool friend, so he recommended it to me because of all that. And well, they were really excited because the mezcal was really good.
Well,
The mezcal was the best part of that place, right? Yes, the mezcal was really good. And another weird thing was that all the tables were like this. I mean, crammed together, all of them like this, literally. The table here, and it's here, like right here, facing that way, right? There's a person on each side. All the tables are set up that way, and when you leave, you have to squeeze out like a contortionist. The place is really weird.
such strange tastes.
Strange things from Mexico City.
Hello, Roberto Carreras. How are you?
Which polls were they? Sorry, I mean, I'm going to do a poll of polls. What should we put in the poll? And, well, I'm putting in the polls that they told me about. There's one missing. One is the one Francisco Arque mentioned. It's a poll about Abraham Mundial, the one about food prices, the one about security risks for Trump.
No. Another question was, how soon will Trump lose his mind?
Okay, something about mental health. I have to put it that way.
Nicer.
Because it's going to fall apart.
Trump is crazy. Well, that won't work. Trump is crazy. He's going to lose it today. Eddie says, how much is the war against Iran going to cost? The US and Israel could have finished it in 2 weeks, but it's not good for business to end it quickly. So they drag it out and we're all paying for it, says Eddie. So you think they're dragging it out for business reasons, huh? What do you think?
What? Oh, that they're dragging it out. Why?
Well, so that everything stays higher.
So that the price of energy stays higher, right? And to speculate, right? Also, prices go up and down.
Yes. Those? Yes, Leonardo. Pepe, I already sent them greetings. I send greetings to my pets. I uploaded their photos so you can meet them. The cat's name is Simeon and the dog's name is Moro.
See?
It's going to be Morenito. Greetings also to Walter. He's here to Tani Farm. Greetings, they postponed it. I left a like. Greetings, Tani. Greetings.
Greetings, Tani.
Hello, Tani from the future, and hello to Beatrice Alvarez. How are you? And Martin also says, you already mentioned him. Greetings to Waldo. He says it's unlikely the Iranian attacks can cripple the United Arab Emirates oil industry. We have to consider that Ukraine, with much more intense attacks, had a definitive effect. It has had a definitive effect.
Greetings.
Greetings, Waldo. Hello. There he is, Moro. If he doesn't say come, look at my face.
There he is, Moro. And what's the kitten's name? Simeon. Simeon, right? Very good, Leonardo. We already have them here in the picture.
Beautiful.
That's great. There we are.
Walter 2296 says, tomorrow is the meteor shower in Argentina, says Walter. For sure.
Well then, were you going out to see them? Are you going out to see the meteor shower? Or how is it going to be? Look, here is the poll of polls. That poll of polls is there. In case you want to participate, it's there in the community area. Well, for those who don't know, I'll share it with you. If you could pin it, please. Oh, yes. It's there in the community area. It says, how are you? Ofe, greetings. It says, if it's about believing something, I consider myself more Saturnina than anything else. Greetings, Pixel. How have you been? Hassel, says Trumpist doesn't say anything. Jokingly, he's already announcing his intentions, possibly, right? Joke in quotes, right? But yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Greetings to Dieguito who says Holy Masters of Information. Hey Pepe, I saw some news from last week over in Monterrey that a homeless person locked up a truck. Ha ha ha. Hello?
What's up? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes people get way too confident. The other day you did it, I mean, like for years now, yeah, crime has gone down a lot, and then you also start getting too comfortable, right? Yeah, well, yeah, it's still a big city and you shouldn't leave your keys in the car, right? Simple things like that, but you still need to be careful. And the other day, also a lady, what? What? Day of Madness. That's what I'm going to call it, the day when it happened. Months with really cool humid temperatures and then like 3 days in a row of heat. Dry and harsh heat. Harsh and like dry heat. Humid weird because suddenly one day it's humid but hot and also dry. Well, like I told you here, listen, there were a lot of accidents, people acting crazy. You could notice the stress in people driving. Plus there's the World Cup construction, right? That same day I lost that note. I had it here, but I don't know if you saw it. A lady of some age, right? She said, well, there's senior citizens, but I didn't see Juan. An older lady started climbing up one of those huge electric towers. I'm not sure how far she went, but in the photo you can see the older lady way up there. She climbed like that. I don't know what she was thinking. I won't say it, but you can guess what I'm thinking, right? I mean, what happened to the lady? And also, those kinds of situations are increasing, right? People who have a problem or something, and it gets worse with the heat. Honestly, it also reminded me of that movie Falling Down.
Yeah, falling down is really good.
Yeah, sometimes people with a certain level of stress, and then on top of that, the heat, they just snap and do crazy things, right? We should watch that movie again. No, no.
No. Greetings to Fidel Botello, also to Armando Antonio Bru. They say the question is who comes first, Trump or Putin?
That's good too.
Greetings to Vederi, greetings to everyone here. Going back to the United States. Yes, you can feel the low energy over there and the prices are unreal. In New York, the union treated us pretty badly, and in Chicago, it was a little better, says Verderi.
Hey, thanks for today. So let's see again. Verderi, all right then.
Verderi, go ahead.
Go ahead, it's about backstage stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, he goes backstage, he goes to support famous rock bands.
He got to do it with Zoe.
He got to do it with Soy. So he asks who treated him badly and had a bad attitude.
It was in New York, at the union.
The union had a bad attitude.
Hey, in Chicago, the prices were a little better, but still unreal.
Yeah, well, yeah, I imagine.
Pixel says all those disgusting politicians should fall because all they do is divide people and make them fight over their filthy personal interests and ambitions. And that's absolutely right. And they invent two wars to stay in power and cover up their filth. Pixel cat. Pixel, you're saying what everyone feels. Yes, because yes. So yes. Greetings.
Greetings, Pixel. Great comment.
Greetings to Marcela Riquelme as well. And Edil is here too, saying Trump is going to be the president with the most assassination attempts. Is that a question?
Well, maybe I'm just saying.
If asked, no, he's not the president with the most assassination attempts. Those attempts really have been very dramatic. However, he is the one they've come closest to. That's the problem because people didn't even hear about it or anything.
I mean, others were so well protected that yes.
I mean, we didn't see it.
No, it didn't reach the media, let's say.
It didn't get there. They stopped them in time. Someone's alert would come in and they would go and arrest them, etc. So we don't even know who they are. They're locked away in prison, but we don't even know who they are. Greetings to Sylvia Jordan, who says, good evening, friends. Thank you for the information and for keeping us informed. And Vix Carcega says, it's better not to talk about Trump in case the AI is listening. We don't want them to take away our visa. Oh yes, otherwise you basically have to wipe all your social media. Greetings to MT and CPN, and greetings to Armando Antonio. He says 20,000 sailors would be like 1,000 ships. Each ship has 20 sailors, says Armando. I just saw that on January 28th, April. There were 900 and something, so it's probably 1,000 by now.
Well, yes, it could be. He says, I already voted for number 2. He says, thanks, the game was great.
Yes, he says a real vibe in Los Angeles. Really cool. People are on a whole different level. Well, because they catch the Latin vibe. That's why it's a real vibe. He says,
greetings. How are you, Neri Salazar? He says, greetings, Pepe. Gas is $4 a gallon in Guatemala. He says, greetings in Guatemala.
in Guatemala they use dollars.
Ah, that's crazy.
That's wild. Neri, long live democracy. That's what I meant before. Why did Iran launch missiles at the United Arab Emirates and Oman? Thanks and best regards. Well, only they know that because, well, look at all the bad things.
Oman, more or less? No.
No, but before, yes.
Before, yes. Before, yes. Hey, Miguel, how have you been? Hello, Miguel, greetings. He says they're all corrupt and have committed crimes. Ben says, greetings, Ben, how have you been? Hello?
Greetings to Ricardo Sandoval, who is watching us from Panama. How are you, Ricardo? And I know he says, good evening. I'm one of those who started watching the videos about 2 months ago on replay and never comments. Well, greetings from here, but the 11 will be huge. Thank you so much for commenting.
Greetings. Thank you very much. Leonardo Pepe says, I heard some news where China had built a robot that they're putting on a space satellite. It's like a spider and it can make things in space with carbon fiber. How crazy is that? Yeah, that one. I haven't seen it. I'll check it out to talk about it in the next few days. Thank you, Leonardo. It's crazy. The advances they're making now, well, with the focus that the Chinese scientific community has right now, their priority is basically space, right? Even their main strategic focus for military matters is space. I mean, that's at least what they've declared publicly, and that's also true.
Crazy. They say the anthem that was wrong is in Galveston, Texas.
In Texas.
$4, yes.
Yes.
Greetings also to the one who just greeted me. He says F for all the corrupt ones. They have what you mentioned and they look like they're on another planet. Pixel has its perfect president. If a perfect president doesn't exist, we should stop acting like we're gods since none of us is perfect.
Maybe there's a dimension somewhere else in the universe where everyone is perfect and the presidents are perfect too, right? But honestly, I haven't seen that dimension.
No, he doesn't use it. I bring my own things.
Greetings. I'm doing very well.
He says, come to Los Angeles. And if it's expensive, well, it's because Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, if we go to those cities, the more cosmopolitan ones, they're going to be more expensive. And if you go to rural United States, well, it's probably not that expensive.
Yeah, maybe not so much.
And who knows? Pixel says, at least in Latin America, they don't go around invading each other. Pixel says,
greetings, do you think this is perfect? Bebano says, I don't know if it's about me. Hey, how have you been? Greetings. At least in Latam, we're not invading each other. Marcela says, how have you been? Sorry, Marcela. Greetings.
Vitamina says, greetings. Good evening to everyone. Greetings, Vitamina. And here Verderi says, from $30 and up for food, eating decently, and then adding tax. Oh, I really can't stand that thing about prices in the States, where you go and think you have enough, and then they say, plus tax. Damn, what a pain.
What happened?
How much is this tax increase and 20% tip? No, that's crazy.
Because also in some places, from what I've seen, there are complaints that...
Your question is coming up.
Ask your question already.
It's included.
If you know a tip on top of the tip. Yes.
Yes. Greetings to a topic that some people have been complaining about. It's just that so many videos of influencers giving tips of like $1,000, $2,000 have really affected people's perception of how much the tip should be. Yeah.
One time we had we had a beer or something like that with a somewhat famous actor and also a producer. So he's doing well over there in the United States. And he would tip every time the waitress came by, giving a $20 tip. That's how he did it. The waitress was excited, always coming over whenever he called, especially for a $20 tip.
The man went overboard. He went overboard with $20.
Here you go.
Here you go.
But then you see these YouTubers who set the bar way too high, right? Like they gave away $10,000, I don't know what. Wow, that's crazy, but good for them, right?
Cool, but that topic gets a lot of complaints.
Yeah, a lot.
Greetings to Omar and greetings from 14 Veracruz. I just finished watching Monar Season 2. Excellent. Very good.
That's great that...
Still.
We're still on the first one.
On the first one?
As far as I know, we're still on the first one. Well, yeah, we're making progress, but I don't know how many episodes the first party will be. I don't know, but I mean, no, better not to spoil it but yeah, we're getting there. We're making progress. I think we're watching an episode today.
Greetings to Alfonso Gayoso, who's watching us from Bakersfield, California. Hello, Alfonso. Great to have you. Also, greetings to Luis Alberto, who's watching us from Nicaragua. And here he is, and you can see, well, physics says that an evil twin exists. Just imagine your evil twin. Oh, wow, I think I'm the evil one. Just kidding. Greetings.
From Guadalajara. So it really was
That it had expired.
the amazing woman from Guadalajara. Thank you so much for supporting us. Big greetings to you and your family, of course.
Sister Margarita was so mean that when she went hunting in Africa, the lions made campfires so she wouldn't come near,
So she wouldn't get close. They would throw fire at her like this.
so she would go away.
Can you imagine, Armando? How have you been? This one says green, and if you add the beers in a drink, it goes from $50 and up.
It's really expensive per person.
Well, yeah. He says political and religious extremes are really bad. They blind people and brainwash them.
Yes, absolutely. Never be extremists.
Well, yes, listen, look, there's the survey. It's still there.
The mental one is going.
Mental health is winning. Let's stop here for now and see what happens tomorrow. And, well, that's it.
Well, guys, remember that we're on WhatsApp and Telegram, and we send you notifications about the live streams. And we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and
Thank you so much for joining us for a little while, and well, tomorrow we'll keep chatting for a while longer. Greetings also to Yo-Yo and the whole community.
the survey is to find out which survey of the survey of the survey to know which survey it is. And the one who surveys will be a good survey respondent. So,
We saw Nova's dad, but missed the Nova's dad joke. Yes, during the live I realized there was one.
it's just that it got cut off on me.
But let me see if I can find it real quick.
It's just that I don't have the chat.
No, look, no. It's not there anymore. It's gone. It got lost in the past.
I don't know. Well,
That's just how it is. Greetings to Emma and Pixel. Thanks so much to the community
greetings, Yesenia.
for supporting us, for being here. A big greeting to those watching us later. Recommend us, give us a like. Thank you so much. Greetings to the whole community. See you tomorrow. We interrupt your regular programming.
Thank you for tuning in to The Truth.
This is Pepe Live.
The truth is intense. The unbelievable is real. Here we analyze it. Global focus. Don't miss out. Tune in to the Pepe Live channel. Controlling the signal, Pepe and Astrid telling it like it is. Raw journalism. Respect is given here. Enable alerts. Don't lose track. Until next time. Yes, sir.
We're taking attendance.
Subscribe. Pepe Live in the house.